June is all about coming of age, monsters, and rumps. Yes! I'm reading Richard Laymon again. I'm back on a Richard Laymon kick. If you want to hear about it, just wait a sec and I'll tell you more. Welcome back, fellow freaks, geeks, and nostalgic peeps, to my channel, Slime and Slashers, where, yeah, we talk about everything from horror books to all kinds of other books, because, yeah, I do read other genres, and everything in between. Today, though, we're going to be talking about my June TBR, and it is as unhinged as it's ever been, and that's the way I freaking like it. I just love a good, massive, and unhinged TBR, and this is both, so right up my alley, I guess. So first off, why am I reading Richard Laymon again? If you're a longtime viewer of mine, thank you for sticking around, but you are probably aware that I have already read a lot of Richard Laymon. In fact, I have read, at this point, I think it's 18 and a half, because I'm currently in the middle of a book of his, but that's why there's a half, but about 18 and a half Laymons, and that is in large part because last year I did a whole year of Richard Laymon. I hosted a read-along where we read a Richard Laymon book every month of the year, and I actually failed at 2 months, but I have since completed, or I'm in the middle of completing, the books that I didn't get to. The half that I'm reading, the half of the Laymon book I'm currently into, is the only month I have yet to complete from last year's year of Laymon. But without further ado, I want to tell you about another Richard Laymon event that, yes, is happening in June. It is open to everyone. We do encourage you guys to join in. The wonderful Regina St. Clair over at Regina's Haunted Library is hosting a Reading and Rumps event. Of course, you have to mention Rumps if you mention Richard Laymon. So she is hosting this along with Alex the Bookubus and some others, including myself. And the basic premise, it's to read a Richard Laymon book or story. So yes, there are prompts, but you do not have to do those. Basically, if you read one Laymon, if it's a short story or a book, doesn't matter, you have participated in Reading and Rumps. I will link Regina's announcement video below, as well as Alex's announcement video below, /TBR. And if you want to hear more about my Richard Laymon journey, I will be actually doing a tier ranking of all the Richard Laymon books I have read coming up in June. So stay tuned for that. It will be happening very, very soon. And if you are new here, welcome. I am Kelsey, host of Slime and Slashers, and if you have not been warned, Richard Laymon is not for the faint of heart. No, he is hardcore, content warnings out the wazoo, over-sexualized characters. I call him trashy cozy, but is he for everyone? Absolutely not. In fact, when I tell people about Richard Laymon, I say, you know, when in doubt, just don't read him. Just don't read him. So if you're in, like, any kind of doubt, just stay away, and you might be glad. But if you're someone who likes trashy kind of books, and you don't mind sexualization of characters, especially women characters, then I say dig in. I think Richard Laymon, in my opinion, the reason why he wrote this way is because I think he knew that it worked. I think he knew that it appealed to a certain audience that was there. To me, it's the epitome of trashy cozy, but yes, please be warned. Don't just go in willy-nilly and say, Kelsey said it's cool, Reading in Rumps, yeah! No, please, no. Just, if in doubt, stay away, and then thank me later, because, yeah, I'm scared for people to blame me for their Richard Laymon fiascos if they've never read him before. If you're looking to read a Richard Laymon and you've never read from him before, I do suggest maybe picking up the book Savage. I think that is the most newbie-friendly Laymon book, and if you don't like Savage, I don't know if you'd like any other book by him. Also, another good possible option for you would be The Traveling Vampire Show, which is mostly a coming-of-age book, but the end goes ham and bonkers, and there still is over-sexualization of characters in both of those books, so just be warned. But I do think those two are the most beginner-friendly books for Laymon newbies or people who want to dip their toe into the Laymon pool of sleaze. I don't know. If you're wondering what my options are for the Richard Laymon read-along, I have a lot of options, but my definites are dun, 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 In the Dark, which is the one book I didn't finish for my year of Laymon, and I'm already 50% in, so I will definitely be finishing this. I'm liking it so far. It feels like a 4-star. It is a little long, and that would be my only complaint. Otherwise, it's been entertaining and classic Laymon, so nothing to complain about for me. So yeah, this is a girl gets all these notes, and she has to play a game and receives money, but it keeps getting more and more unhinged and dangerous as she goes on and does the challenges. Another definite is Nightmare Lake. This is a book that Richard Laymon wrote under the name Carl Laymon, and this is a YA old school book. It's part of the Twilight series. No, not Edward Cullen Twilight. It's a very rare YA series, and I wish I had more of the books. I only have 2, and this is one of the 2, and Andrew gifted this to me. Thank you so much, Andrew. You could find him at It Came From the Page, and yes, this is going to be a definite because I've never read a YA book by Laymon before, so this will be a first, and it is going to be definitely read. It's so short, I have no doubt I'll be able to get to it. And the final definite Richard Laymon for me is a buddy read I'll be doing with some friends, including my friend Alicia. We're going to read To Wake the Dead. She's already read it before and enjoyed it, but it's been a long time. I have never read this one. It's also known under the name Amara, I think? Anyway, mummies and mummy boobs, apparently. I don't care. I'm excited. It's gonna be unhinged. There is audio for To Wake the Dead. And P.S., a lot of Richard Laymon books are on KU. So if you don't own any physically, a lot of them are on the KU service, so no worries there. And if I have extra time, which I doubt I will, but these are the other options I have. If I have time for more Laymon, I would love to read Island. It's one of the most popular Richard Laymon books that I have not yet read, so this is an option. It feels very appropriate for summertime. I also really want to read The Stake. I do not own a physical copy. This one is not on KU. Also, I would have to basically read it on Internet Archive. I really want a physical copy of this book. It's one of my dream finds for Richard Laymon books, and I've heard that I would like it, and I actually heard from a Patreon member that they think it would be a 5-star book for me, so they gave it as a suggestion for a 5-star prediction for me. Say no more! Another option would be The Beast House, which would be the second book in the series of books, starting with the book The Cellar, which I have read. It is unhinged as hell. Do not start with that book by Richard Laymon, even though I think that was my first. Was it? Yeah, and it was a book club book. Anyway, I loved The Cellar, so I really gotta continue on with the series. Another option would be One Rainy Night. I own that one physically, but I didn't pull it, so it's not in front of me. And that completes all of my options for potential reads for Reading Rumps. Alright, so that is the first event I'll be participating in June, but I've got a lot of other things going on in June as well, including my book club that I run every month. I also have a movie club, by the way, and our movie for June is The Deer Hunter, which I love. I've already seen it. It is a heavy movie. Check trigger warnings, especially for self-harm, and it deals with the Vietnam War. So we're talking about a movie that is super heavy, super emotional. Not going to be an easy watch, but it will be a fantastic movie to discuss. So that will be happening in July, the discussion. But the movie for June, again, it's The Deer Hunter. And for the book part of my club, the Midnight Book Society, we will be reading Dweller by Jeff Strand. That's where the monster theme comes in. That and another event I'm doing has a monster theme. So Dweller perfectly fits with that monsty theme, and I'm very excited. My friend Andrew has read this and loved it, and he said he thinks I will like it as well. Jeff Strand's one of my favorite authors. I have read a lot of books by him, including Clowns vs. Spiders, which is one of my favorite horror books of all time. So I have high hopes for this book, and I've heard from other friends too that they've loved this. It's about a boy named Toby who finds a creature in the woods, and I think he befriends the creature, and then they have a lifelong relationship together and friendship. Alright, so we've got my book club going on, we've got Reading in Rumps, but we also have a third thing going on because I am co-hosting a Patreon readathon along with 2 of my friends who also have their own Patreon, my friend Kitty from Spicy Cats Reads, and my friend Andrew from It Came From the Page. We each have our own themes as a part of this readathon, and the overarching theme is unhinged, bitch! It's just unhinged. And so Kitty's theme is kind of monster themed, and my theme is kind of coming of age themed, and Andrew's is kaiju themed, so Godzilla and such, and large giant monsters. So I love this. We made great graphics, and we've got a co-Discord for the 3 of our Patreons to come together and discuss our reads. So it's really, really fun. If you're interested, I will link my Patreon and YouTube membership details below, but also I will link Kitty's page as well as Andrew's page below, because both have great Patreon channels that you should totally check out, and it's going to be an unhinged blast. And so, sticking with my coming of age theme, I picked out a lot of coming of age books, and I will go over some extra books that will fit Kitty and Andrew's prompts, but I'm going to do that on Patreon as a bonus video. So if you're interested in that, maybe sign up for my Patreon. You don't have to, but that's where the video will be. But yes, let's go over my coming of age options, which will fit my prompts for the Unhinged Patreon readathon. Coming of age is one of my favorite subgenres of books. Not just horror, I'm talking about general fiction as well. I just love a great heartfelt coming of age story. There's freaking nothing like it in my opinion. That's why I love Boy's Life by Robert McCammon. If you didn't know, that is my favorite book of all time. It is a coming of age book and is truly one of the greatest books ever. I already reread that book literally this year, just last month. So, I'm not going to be reading Boy's Life. However, the books I picked out, I'm super hyped about, and I have a lot of options. So I will go over first my priority coming-of-age books, and then books that I have, if the mood strikes, I have these other books picked out that would fit the coming-of-age vibe and theme. So first, let's go over those priority books, definite reads. Alright, first priority read, I have a Patreon quarterly book club, so it's only for Patreon, and it's only 4 reads a year. And our read for this quarter, for June, will be Ordinary Grace by William Kent Kruger. This is a coming-of-age book. It is not a horror book. It's more general fiction from what I've read. I'm really excited to dip into this. It's got very high ratings, so if you're wanting to read along, again, that is for the middle and the top tier on my Patreon. Not all tiers, but the middle and the top tier. And the book club, the Patreon book club, is called the Cornucopia. Because every tier of my Patreon, by the way, is corn themed. So popcorn, candy corn, and corn cobs. And the Cornucopia Book Club. Second priority, coming of age books, they're long. This one's no different. It's a chunker. I actually started this last summer because coming of age always fits with summer vibes, in my opinion. And that is why I dipped into this last summer. It wasn't that I wasn't enjoying it, it's just hard to read this big of a physical-only book. There is no audio. This is Malignant Summer by Tim Meyer, and I was loving this. So this is another priority. Hopefully I can make more progress in this, if not finish it, this summer. This will be great. Yeah, look at this great cover. Amazing. Incredible. So good. So good. Frickin' look at this. Next up, my friend Erie keeps telling me I need to read this book, I need to read this book. It does have coming-of-age vibes, and I think mystery vibes as well, and I'm finally gonna do it. So this is a priority because my friend Erie is amazing and so sweet and has done so much for me, and even gifted me this hardcover copy. I will make this a priority and do my best to read it in June. And by the way, I believe there is audio. Yes, there's audio available through my Libby app. Ordinary Grace also is available through my Hoopla and Libby, so both of those have audio. Now, Malignant Summer does not, but yes, this one does, so I think I can get to it, and I'm so excited. So Erie, I'm finally gonna do it! I'm gonna do it. So this one, it's like small town secrets, a girl disappears, a kid helps this detective investigate, I believe. And that is the general gist. I don't want to get into the synopses of these books too much, just because then we'd be here forever, and I can tell this video's already long! Next priority, we've got The Bottoms by Joe R. Lansdale. This one's horror leaning, so I am excited about this one. We've got a tale of Texas Gothic that is suspenseful, revelatory, and moving in ways you have never before beheld. And it says here, The Bottoms is part mystery, part coming-of-age story, and 100% pure storytelling brilliance from one of the most supremely inventive American novelists alive today. And I've loved other books by Joe R. Lansdale, so I'm excited. And it does take place in Texas, so we got southern kind of hot vibes, perfect for summertime. Another priority book is Betty by Tiffany McDaniel, and I have had this on my TBR for years. Will it be the year I get to it? I hope so. Crystal, my friend over at the channel Fiber Artsy, suggested this book to me like 3 years ago, and I still have not got to it, but I appreciate her suggestion, and I hear it's a really, really hardcore tearjerker. more of a literary fiction book and a very beautiful story, but heart-wrenching, and I'm ready for it, maybe, possibly. And this one does have audio, and the audio is on Libby. By the way, the Bottoms does have audio available through my Hoopla app, so a lot of these coming-of-age books have audio, which I love using audio. Not everyone does, that's okay, but I personally love using audio, especially if I'm diamond painting or if I'm reading along and listening. That's always great too. So yeah, if you're curious about any of these books and want to read them as well, I'll just let you know which have audio as far as I know. And last priority read, but not least, we've got Mapping the Interior by Stephen Graham Jones. I have a very tumultuous relationship with Stephen Graham Jones, in that some books of his I have loved and others I have not. But I've heard great things about this little novella, and this was recently re-released by Tor Nightfire. So thank you, Tor, for sending me this great copy. And again, so this is the new edition. The old edition has like a kid on the front, but I've heard great things, even from people who don't always jive with Jones's writing, so that gives me hope that this one will work for me. Fingers crossed, I hope. And I love coming of age, so that is a plus as well. Alright, let's go into it quickly. We're not going to go over synopses, but these are the other options if the mood strikes me. These are all coming-of-age books. So first off, we've got Neverland by Douglas Clegg. I hear this is coming-of-age. Also, horror, probably cheesy. It is old school, but I love that. And it does have audio, by the way, on Audible. Another vintage book that does have audio, and from my research, I've heard it's coming of age, is Shadowland by Peter Straub, who I have read from before. I loved his book Ghost Story, so I'm curious about this one. It's such a shiny cover, look at this. And the audio for this is on Everand, so I have already unlocked the audio, so this is definitely a potential. Back to some modern books here that are coming of age. We've got The Stars Did Wander Darkling. I love this cover. This one does have audio. Look how shiny that gold font is. Kids on Bikes, hell yes, that is a staple of coming of age. Here is a YA general fiction book. We've got Looking for Alaska by John Green. It's an award-winning book, so looking forward to this one, and this one does have audio as well. Back to some vintage books. Here we've got Wizard, spelled kind of weird, and this is a vintage YA book from St. Martin's Press, the publisher, and it's by Steve Zell. Hair-raising, fast-paced, with exceptionally well-drawn and engaging characters. And I probably won't get to this, there is no audio that I know of, but just found this in my collection and thought I'd put it aside just in case somehow I have the time. A book I did start in the past, in previous summers, we've got Night Flyer by Christopher Fay. I heard this is a great coming of age, and from what I started and remembered, I liked it. We'll see if I can continue it this year or not. And last but not least, a book I randomly found at the library. I don't know if there's audio because literally I had not heard of this book. It was kind of featured in one of their, like, they've got, popular fiction, popular mystery. They've got books on display when you just walk in, and this was one of them, and I just saw the title, which seemed coming of age, read the premise, and I was like, yeah, this is coming of age sounding, and this sounds right up my alley. So I just, on a whim, checked it out from the library. And it says, if you're famous, you don't have to go to war. Summer 1968, when 13-year-old Jack overhears the barbershop men grousing, he devises a secret plan to keep his oldest brother, Pete, from being drafted. That's so sweet. If famous boys don't go to war, he'll make his brother their small town's biggest celebrity. Jack gets unexpected help when his book-smart cousin Frankie arrives in their rural Pennsylvania town for the summer. Together, they convince Jack's brothers to lead an expedition to find a fighter jet that crashed many winters ago. The perfect adventure to make Pete a hero. But with a greedy developer determined to flood their valley, a beautiful girl occupying his middle brother's attentions, a wild motorcycle gang causing trouble in town, and a disturbed neighbor setting fires, Jack realizes it isn't just Pete who needs saving. Set during a single tumultuous summer, this beautifully told tale is a heartwarming tribute to innocence, first love, and the unbreakable bond of brotherhood. Part coming-of-age tale, part adventure narrative. This heartwarming and uplifting debut is perfect for fans of William Kent Kruger's The Tender Land or the beloved film Stand By Me, adapted from Stephen King's The Body. I want to read this so bad. It sounds so good. It sounds like everything I love in a coming-of-age book, so yes, me! Yes, okay. Alright, this is the last potential, but I really would love to get to this. I gotta check if there's audio. Yes. Oh, and I almost forgot 2 more books that I don't own, but that I would love to get to that are coming of age. We've got Criterium by Tyler Jones, and the cover has like a bicycle on it. That is on KU, and there is audio. And then a book that does not have audio, but it looks great. We've got Kids on Bikes on the cover, and this is more horror leaning. This is 2 Minutes with the Devil by Matt Michelai, I believe. And the cover looks great. And sign me up. There's not a lot of pure horror on my list when it comes to these coming of age books, so we'll see if I get into a few like this one, and Malignant Summer, The Bottoms, and I hope I can get to those. Of course, there are other events taking place in June, like June on the Range. I do have a book saved for that just in case. I've got Cruel Angels Past Sundown saved on my TBR possibility list, and that is by Haley Piper. And it's kind of like a splatterpunk western. So if I have time, that'll be my one western for June on the Range. And again, I do have more options for my Unhinged buddies prompts. Of course, Andrew and Kitty, that's who I'm referring to, but I'm gonna go over those in another video. But for this time, for this video, that is my huge ass pile of possibilities. I hope you guys enjoyed hearing about what I might get to read in the month of June. Have you read any of the books on my TBR, guys? Let me know down below if you have. Let me know if any of the potentials are really good and maybe I should prioritize them higher. Let me know anything you want, even if you didn't like the book, if you've already read it, down below in the comments. What is the book you're most excited to read for June? Please join us for Dweller by Jeff Strand for my book club, the Midnight Book Society, if you're interested. And don't forget about my film club as well, the Midnight Film Society. We are going to be watching The Deer Hunter. And our May pick, by the way, which we will be talking about in the beginning of June, is Midsommar. So you still have time to watch Midsommar and join us for the discussion, which will be in the second week of June. But yes, Deer Hunter will be the May pick, and that will take place, the discussion, the second week of July. So stay tuned for that, but I'm excited. I'm excited as hell to watch it. Alright guys, and if you want to leave a comment but you don't know what to say, you can leave me a bike emoji for coming of age goodness, because that is just my jam. Honestly, I love it. And I know I've been gone quite a while. Thank you guys for bearing with me. I kind of took a hiatus. Things in life are kind of crazy right now, so appreciate your patience, and I hope to be more consistent coming up here soon, because I've got a summer full of freaking a boatload of events, including participating in other people's events, co-hosting other people's events, and also hosting my own events. So lots going on this summer. It's going to be a blast, and I cannot wait. So for this time, guys, truly, that is it for me. Till next time, you know what you can do. Keep on killing it. Bye, guys.